How much does budget travel in Thailand 2023 cost? Well, when I started reading travel blogs back in like 2012, people were talking about $600 per month is totally possible for a budget traveler in Thailand. Now, 10 years later, it's 2023, and I kind of wanted to know, is that still possible? So, in this video, I'm gonna go through our costs, me and my wonderful girlfriend Denise. She's walking backwards, by the way, that's really funny. Our cost for 1 month of travel through Thailand. And you won't believe actually how little we spent. That was in northern Thailand. We are now in southern Thailand, we're in Koh Chang. But actually prices here seems to be kind of the same. So it probably applies to everywhere. We'll see for the following month. But yeah, we're gonna start right away with our first budget post. So let's go. Accommodation. And that comes down to a grand total of 440 euros or dollars or whatever you prefer. It's pretty much the same nowadays for 2 people for 1 month in Thailand. In Bangkok and in the north, in multiple cities in the north, in different hotels and homestays and yeah, I guess hostels as well, in private rooms. We have the big luck that we're 2 people, so we can always share the cost because a private hotel room costs pretty much the same as 2 beds in a dorm. So that's really nice. If you're traveling solo, you're probably gonna have to be fine with the dorms and you won't have as many options, but it's great. We usually stay in cheap places because, yeah, we are budget travelers, obviously. We also try to, we could have gone even lower on this actually, but there's always a cheaper place, but we also go a bit for quality because, you know, it's sometimes worth paying a few baht more, like an extra $1 per night, if the service and the accommodation is just so much better and the location is great and all that. That was in northern Thailand, but also Bangkok, which is a bit more expensive, people say, and it was a bit more expensive. Now we're in the south, so we'll see. People say it's more expensive here, but actually this private bungalow is the cheapest place we stayed at during our whole travel, so we'll see about that. Anyway, that comes down to a grand total of $440, as I said, or $220 per person, which is pretty great price for housing for a month, actually. And with that said, let's move on to our next category. Food. And that comes down to a total of $266 or $133 per person. And that covers restaurants, our visits to cafes, and night markets, and when we order from Grab, like ordered food takeaway, basically. Worth mentioning with that is that we only eat 2 meals per day in general, which is, you know, if you eat 3 meals per day, it's obviously gonna add up a little bit extra. But then again, we mostly eat from cheap places, cheap restaurants, or even cheaper street food stands. It's very rarely we've actually visited a fancy restaurant. I don't think we've actually visited a properly fancy restaurant. Mostly just, yeah, kind of cheap places. And in general, a meal will set you back between $1 and $3. Yeah. So it's not that much actually. And you can find those places pretty much everywhere. This one with a view like this, and you're gonna pay a little bit extra, but you know, you pay for the view. Yeah, and that was the food category, so let's move right on to the next one. Groceries. And this was a surprisingly big one actually. And it came down to a total of $76 or $38 per person, which is actually quite a lot. And that is like fruits and snacks and water, and actually the absolute majority is probably water and snacks from 7-Eleven, and that's actually exactly where we're going right now as well, so kind of explains it.
Almost no day where we don't go there. Right?
Almost no day where we don't go there. So yeah. Well, with that, let's move on to the next category. Transportation. And that comes down to a grand total of 124 euros or dollars for 2 people, so 62 per person. As you can see right now, we are using our main form of transportation, our legs, which is they're the best, they're the cheapest. But that cost also obviously covers buses, song tabs, taxis, Bolt, all that stuff for distances that we are not willing to walk ourselves, basically. And considering how much we've been traveling around in the north of Thailand, I would say that is not too bad of a price actually.
Nope.
Yeah, that was our transportation cost. So move on to the next one directly. Activities. And that comes down to, drum roll, $124 or euros in total, which means $62 euros per person. And that includes our visit to Sukhumvit with the bike rentals, our bike tour there, and all the entrance fees in the park. Our little Doi Sutup tour where we visited multiple temples in one day in Chiang Mai. Our Koh Lanka visit, which was definitely the most expensive one because we rented a scooter, a powerful one, and drove up the mountains, stayed in quite expensive accommodation, which was crazy cool, crazy worth it. And also our little visit up to the mountain national park in Phuha. What was the name of it again?
Doi Phuka.
Doi Phuka in Phuha, yeah, which was also very pretty, where we rented the car. And yeah, $62 per person for a month of activities is really not that bad. We haven't really done any tours or anything. We kind of do everything independently because we are cheap people, I was gonna say. We also like the freedom it brings actually. We don't really see the point of doing tours if we can do it cheaper and have more freedom at the same time ourselves. Sometimes it's not possible, of course, and then we're gonna have to do tours. Sometimes it's not worth doing it on our own, and then it's also worth doing tours. But I'm really happy with how we did it as of right now. We'll see. Now we're down at the sea, so maybe the following month will be more expensive because we might have to do a bit of a snorkeling tour, or maybe do some diving, and that's quite pricey, but that's life. That was our cost for activities in the north of Thailand for a month. So, and that brings us to our final point of cost. Other costs, and that comes down to a grand total of $36 or $18 per person. That mostly covers our SIM card, some shopping, for example this shirt that is already breaking, but also some laundry. As you probably see from that number, we don't really do much shopping. It's not something we really take pleasure in, none of us. For the SIM card, we only got one. I give a hotspot to Denise whenever she needs one, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And those were our budget posts here. So now let's look at the final statistics. So the grand total comes down to 1,066 euros or 533 euros per person. And if we do the math and divide it per month or per day for a month, then we get 17 euros and 20 cents, which is not really a very high daily cost actually. While calculating, I realized that the dollar and euro are not exactly the same anymore. It was for a while, like a year ago or something like that. So you gotta, to make it into dollars, you actually gotta add like 7% onto that. But even with that correction, you still stay well under $20 per day, which is, yeah, I think a lot of people would be able to do it. Now, a few things that are worth noting is that this is only money that we've spent in Thailand. So it does not cover our flights and it does not cover our travel insurance. Another big thing is that we're not really into partying, so we're not really spending any money on alcohol. Like we have an occasional beer or so, but that's pretty much it. So if you're planning to party, you should definitely take that into consideration and up the budget a little bit. But yeah, for this money, we're living very comfortable, so it's definitely possible to travel Thailand for $600 per month in 2023, and will for sure be it in 2024 as well. As I said, we're living comfortably, so we're pretty good proof. Yeah, and with that said, thanks for watching this video. If you find it helpful, leave a like, maybe even write a nice comment. It really helps me a lot if you do that. And if you want to see our travels in Thailand and for Southeast Asia and the rest of the world for that matter, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope I'll see you again. And now I'm gonna take a little swim. See ya.